familiar with Miss Gwen, who's always on a JOB.
Hello, everyone.
Hey, but we have a special guest for everybody this evening. I want to tell everybody, go ahead and get your pens and piece of paper because you're going to want to definitely take this information down. We have our special guest in the studio with us this evening. And you know what? When I met you, you didn't tell me you was a pastor.
No, I didn't.
You did not. Hey, so we have in the studio with us the pastor, the Reverend, Miss Linda Chisholm. Chisholm. Okay.
Yes.
Hey, Pastor. Well, welcome to the sit down. And you and I, we met in passing at Office Depot. Always on the go.
Yeah.
Always on the go. Office Depot. You can send your check in at a later date, but we met at Office Depot, and I know I was running, trying to get some things done. We started a conversation, and lo and behold, man, you're doing some things out there in the community, and you know, I think the community needs to know that there's resources, there's services out there. So,
Yes.
if you would, Mr. Pastor, tell us about, because the name of the organization is Twofold Help Ministries, right?
Right.
How long has it been in existence?
Since 2017.
Since
Yes,
2017.
it was incorporated in 2017.
So, how long have you been in the Central Florida community now?
I've been since 2017, actually, but I didn't take the ministry off the shelf until 2020 after my husband passed.
Sorry to hear that. Sorry to hear that. Hey, but you hear how she said she didn't take it off the shelf.
Yes.
You know
You
who
can't
be talking
take
about
that off
that?
the shelf.
Pastor Richard King will be talking about that kind of stuff. So when you say you didn't take it off the shelf, talk to us about
I didn't actually start working under that name.
that.
Prior to that time, I was going into the prisons under Divine Christian Women Fellowship and Will Ministry, which was founded by a late friend of mine, Valerie Ellis.
Okay.
She would go into Lowell prisons, and I was going in there with her. And she passed in 2020, in May of 2020.
Oh, wow.
And so I started going into the prison under her name.
Mhm.
And unbeknown to me, I got an email from the chaplain at Marion County, which is a men's prison.
Okay.
And he asked me if I would mind coming in to Marion. I said, well, sure. But of course, I couldn't go in under Will because Will represented women helping each other into life.
Okay.
I was
Okay.
really crazy
Yeah.
going to men's prison
Yeah.
under Will Ministry. So then I took Twofold off the shelf
Okay.
and I started going in under Twofold. Instead of going to two separate prisons under two separate ministries,
Mhm.
I just combined the two together. Just
Okay.
my friend had passed on, I went in under Twofold Help Ministries, AKA Will Ministries, until they got familiar with who I was.
Okay. So
Okay.
here's what I need you to do. Break down for our audience and tell our audience what's the primary mission or the goal of your ministry.
Well, we are here to provide a better quality of life
Mhm.
for people who've been displaced,
Mhm.
for folks who've coming out of prison
Mhm.
or been sentenced to a jail sentence
Mhm.
or just been court ordered, you know, because so many times people don't know what to do or how to go about
Correct.
getting that second chance.
Correct.
And we're that arm that we want to extend to them to help them get situated,
Okay.
providing them with a safe place to live in. Because if you don't have a place to lay your head down, it's very hard to do anything else.
Well, when you talk about a place to lay your head down, think about the times that we're living in now where we see rent rates that are
Yes.
unimaginable. I mean,
Yes.
rent rates that are nothing more than a mortgage.
Then more. Yes, sir.
You know,
Yes, sir.
And so when we talk about affordable housing, when we talk about things of that nature and listening to what you're doing, it's got to be real tough right now for people to find a place to lay their head when you look at homeless situations,
Mhm.
not just in Central Florida, but across the country.
That's right. That's right.
Yes.
So
Yes.
how have you been able, through your organization, to be able to help? Because you have residential placement, correct?
Yes, I do. And we just had our grand opening of March 2nd of this year. So I'm brand new.
Congratulations.
I'm brand new.
So how many beds is that?
It's a 10-bed house. 10 beds.
Okay.
10 beds. And it's a transitional home for men only.
Okay.
The next one will be for women.
Okay.
And then the next one will be for a whole lot of people.
So you gotta continue to speak it into existence, right?
Absolutely. Yes, speak those things that are not as if they are.
You know,
Yes.
let me tell you, one of the
Man.
things that this show has a habit of doing, it will take off and fly fast. And so before we get so far down the road, let people know how they can get a hold of you first. How can they access you for help?
I have a website that's titled twofoldhelpministries.org. That's TWO Help Ministries was twofold TWOFOLD
Mhm.
Help HELP Ministries.org.
Okay.
They can go to my website.
Okay,
They can learn about who I am, what we do there.
okay.
Or they can email me at the number 2
Mhm.
fold help ministries at gmail.
Okay.
Okay.
And last, they can always pick up the phone.
They call
Okay.
it.
I know they love the telephone.
Okay.
They don't leave home without the phone. They can call me at 954-639-1848.
All right, y'all know how that goes. That phone number, once again, is area code 954-639-1848.
And I'm like 911. I always answer the phone.
Yep. But here's the part that people really are going to be interested in.
Mhm.
What's that?
That's the part where the rubber meets the road,
Oh.
and people are going to say, okay, we appreciate you providing these services.
Mhm.
Mhm.
What's the cost?
Yes.
I mean, where does that come from when you know that people are, returning citizens in a lot of instances?
Mhm.
And yes, we want them to get out and find viable
Jobs.
employment.
Mhm.
So that's the question that's going to be asked. How do they sustain when they contact you? Is it a sliding fee scale, or
It's based on, it's like a sliding fee scale, you are correct. But we're seeking funds, hopefully from the government,
Mhm.
places like Operation New Hope, the
Okay.
sharing center that would help them subsidize their rent until they're able to find employment and pay their own rent.
Okay.
So we do have programs like that in place.
Okay,
But-
does your organization take, I'm sorry, Ms. Queen, but
Go ahead.
does your organization take, like vouchers that governmental entities would give a homeless individual so that they can, whether it's a hotel or a accommodation like what you have? I mean, do you take those vouchers as well?
Yes, we do, yes.
Mhm.
We do not take sex offenders, unfortunately.
Okay, well, that's what people need
Yes,
to know.
they do know.
We don't
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah.
But if someone comes in with a voucher and they're willing to work, they have to have a mind willing to work, because if a man doesn't work, he can't.
Man don't work, don't eat.
There you go.
And then we're trying to develop some parenting skills, because men need parenting skills just like women.
Yes,
you
they
know.
do. Yes.
We're
Yes.
trying to work with an organization with that to help them.
Are they
do that.
coming into the
They
location?
go to their locations or they'll come to ours. We haven't solved that yet.
Okay,
Or worked out the logistics to that as
Okay.
of yet, but we're in the making.
What is your typical, how long is your typical stay for a resident?
Generally, it's anywhere from 6 months to a year,
Okay.
and that varies, because maturity plays a big part.
Yeah.
Right.
And a person's dreams and goals plays a part.
Correct.
Okay. Now, if they're assigned to us through the court system, naturally they would have to do the length of time.
Okay.
So anywhere from 6 months to a year
Okay.
to pull themselves together and be able to start looking for another place to stay or, a better way of life.
Okay. Do you help that resident when it's time for them to go out into society with work and all
Yes,
of that?
we'll have things in place for that.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So what
We wanna
about
do-
helping find jobs and stuff like that?
We have organizations that we work with. I told you, like Operation New Hope and the Sharing Center. They have individuals, companies that come in to speak to the in-persons
Okay.
that's looking for work.
Okay.
Or they can have, there's a website they can go to, things of that nature, So
Mhm.
So what I'm hearing,
the key is here.
yeah,
If you are willing,
you will,
Mhm.
yeah.
if there is a will, there is a way.
Mhm.
Yes. Yes.
But what I'm also hearing is this is a site for independent living. You want people that come in there that basically want to help themselves.
Right.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's key.
And Mr. Love, I got the wheels turning here in my head when we're trying to get these young men back out in society. They're going to need some type of financial
Mhm.
stability, knowing how to budget money.
Exactly.
Do you
Literacy.
offer literacy? Do you offer anything like
Yes, we're
that?
gonna
as
have
well?
programs of that nature in place, as I said, we do. So we're
Okay.
developing all these things now,
Okay.
as we go along, because we know the need, the general need, the basic need, they have a place to stay.
Correct.
The next thing is to make sure they have employment, okay?
Mhm.
Then we talk to them, we have a case manager and
Okay.
speak with them and find out what the other needs are
Gotcha.
and what's best for the program at whole, at large.
You're right. One of the things when you and I spoke briefly, you asked about other organizations and partnershiping.
Exactly.
And I hear what you're saying now. You have a site for independent living. You have a site for individuals that are self-starters,
Mhm.
individuals that want to really start their life over again.
Right.
And so any of those organizations out there that are providing case management services,
Mhm.
access to healthcare, things of that nature, I'm sure.
I would welcome that.
Yeah.
Yes.
I would
yes.
really welcome that.
And where are you located?
The house is 2112 Saracen Drive in Orlando, Florida,
Where?
right off Pine Hills in Hernandez.
Okay.
Century located. So the resident will have easy transportation to and from work.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, when you talk about transportation, that is a major issue here in Central Florida as
Yes,
well.
it is.
Yes.
Mhm.
So,
Yes.
you know, I can hear a lot of partnerships with your organization. I mean, you talk about New Hope, but there's Career Source that also has programs that individuals can actually go into and develop a trade.
Absolutely. And they also have bonding at Career Source.
Okay.
They have a bonding program
Okay.
for those people who come out and need to be bonded before they go to work. Yes.
You already on top of it.
Yes. Career
Well, for
Source,
some that
I've
don't
spoken with
know,
those-
what's bonding? Explain.
Bonding is when you have a record where they don't want to trust you to work in their establishment.
Okay.
So Career Source is an organization that bonds you and goes to the employer and say, listen, we'll back this employee up for you.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
we'll cover this employee.
Okay.
So it gives the employer a better grasp
Mhm.
on whether they should hire the individual or not.
Gotcha.
Because right off the street, they say no.
And that's a level of
Gotta give them
assurance.
a little bit of credibility.
Yeah.
Mhm,
Yeah,
mhm,
yeah.
mhm.
So you have capacity for 10,
Yes,
and what is the minimum age?
18.
18, okay. And so let me ask this question, which is a critically important question as well. Family,
Mhm.
as it relates to reunification of family.
Mhm.
I know, you have situations where there's a disconnect from family, and if you have family support, no matter where you're coming from now, that helps your trajectory from a success standpoint. So I know that would be something else that, your organization.
Yes, we want to look into that in terms of, because a lot of times prison, as you know, separates families,
Mhm.
jails separate families.
Right.
And after they've been in there for a length of time, that's the longer they're away,
Right,
the harder it is to connect.
Right.
And there's a disconnect that takes
Yes.
place.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so what we're going to do at our organization is that we're going to allow families to come and visit them, and spend time with them.
Okay.
And with the parenting class I was talking to you about, we're going
Right.
to try and get that started. And that would help that.
Okay.
So when you say come in, is there a cutoff time that they have to be inside the
Yes,
residence?
yes, I have a curfew and I have a curfew in my own house.
Hey, you know what? I like that because we got rules that we
Yeah,
follow, and these are in our own home. So
Right,
you got rules in this place.
Exactly.
Okay.
You're going to go to work, you want to get to work, you want to be fresh.
Uh-huh.
So that means you got to get to bed on time.
Mhm.
So we have a curfew, a 10 o'clock curfew Monday through Thursday, on
Okay.
Fridays and Saturdays, 12 o'clock.
Okay.
Let me break this out. Let me break this out. Because I was one of 5 growing up in a family. And when it was dinner time, we came running.
Yeah.
So with individuals that are in this house, how's the meals set up? I mean, everybody's responsible for their own
Exactly.
food?
It's
Okay,
accept- yeah, everybody's making responsible for
Okay.
their own food.
okay. Because that was an important
Mhm.
piece
Yes.
growing up one of
You
5.
need my food.
And see, and then there is a responsibility factor.
Mhm.
Let's say we get someone who's been incarcerated before, and I know what that's all about because I've been there.
Mhm.
When you get out, they teach you while you're inside, you have a certain space that you operate from.
Uh-huh.
So now that you're free
Mhm.
and you're in this house,
Mhm.
it's a whole lot better than what it was where you came from.
Right.
So now we expect you to respect the house.
Correct.
First of all, respect yourself.
You're
You
right.
have to respect the house.
Correct.
If you don't respect the house,
Mhm.
you can't be.
Mhm.
Mm.
Simple as that. So when
Okay.
you make the rules, when you make things plain, and they understand you and you understand them.
Right.
I'm not saying things are not going to happen. Sure, you're gonna have a
Call
you gotta
life.
be in there.
Yes.
Call life.
Exactly. Life is gonna happen.
Yes.
But you be responsible.
Mhm.
You understand what I mean?
Let me,
You have to be
let
responsible.
me ask you this, because this comes from a good friend, Dr. Randy Nelson, world-renowned researcher. He does evaluation. This is an expert in community engagement.
Mhm.
The question I'm going to ask you is a question that whether you're a politician or whether you live right around the corner from your site, everybody want to know how effective. And I know you just opened up, so you don't,
Right.
you can't necessarily measure, but how would you determine success?
We would set it up, we would get with the board and we would strategically set up something to track those residents who come through our program.
Okay.
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 We would track them for maybe a year or so and keep communications open to find out
Okay.
how they're doing,
Right.
you know, what
Right.
they're doing at this stage of their life, what they're doing at that stage. That's how we're gonna do
Okay,
that.
okay.
Then we have to have some kind of tracking system in place
Mhm.
so we can know what we need to change.
Correct.
You know,
Correct.
do we need to tweak this or do we need to tweak that or are we
Correct.
okay at this level?
Right.
And one of the
We need to
things,
add more.
yeah, and one of the things Dr. Nelson would say is you always need to benchmark yourself so that, you know, if they're coming in there and hopefully they're coming with a job.
Mhm.
But then once they leave, you want to make sure you have that contact information so that you can call, do your survey,
Yes.
how you doing.
Yes.
Those, that's how you track
Mhm.
success.
We want to have such an impression on them that we will have no problem with them continuously keeping in touch with us.
Oh, that's
You
good.
know,
That's
And if we
excellent.
show them love, that they're worth it,
Right.
that they can do it, give them a yes you can spirit,
Mhm.
you know, and watch them and motivate them and
Yes.
encourage them and
You're right.
love on them.
You're right.
Right.
There is nothing but success to come from that.
That's
right.
true.
You know,
That's
and then
true.
what they're going to do, word of mouth is the best form of advertising.
Mhm.
They're going to tell somebody.
You're right.
They're going to tell somebody.
Right.
And then before you know it, the mustard tree is blooming.
And that's what we want to see. We want to see it bloom from the
Right.
standpoint of going out there and growing and you know,
Mhm.
second chance. And I'm a true believer of second chances,
Mhm.
even sometimes third chances.
Amen.
But what I have a problem with is when we have a small percentage of the population that are constantly going in and out of those doors.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
we take a position that, okay, this person is going to eventually get it.
Get it.
Well, society needs to also be protected
Mhm.
while this person's going through whatever they're going through. And so you're
That's why I
going,
have jails and prisons.
you're right. You're right. I mean, but you know what? We talk about prevention, we talk about intervention a great deal, but some of the other things that we don't want to talk about is the enforcement and the prosecution.
Just as
Yes.
relevant.
Just as relevant.
Yes.
You know, but 10-bed facility in Orlando, twofold help ministries,
It's called Twofold House.
twofold house.
Two.
It's
How did you come up with that name?
It's a subsidiary of Twofold Help Ministry.
Okay.
How come with the name?
Yeah, how did you
Oh,
come up
well, my ministry is twofold. The first fold of my ministry is going into the prisons, which I've been doing since 2017.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, that was ministering to those in prison. The
Mhm.
second fold was to open up transitional housing.
Mhm.
So I just opened the second fold March 2nd when we had our grand opening.
Okay.
But
So-
you envisioned it and now it's
It's
coming.
come
I
to
tell you,
fruition.
it was envisioned from 2007, actually when I was inside, because I'm an ex-felon. When I was inside, I thought of these things, you know, and I told the Lord, listen, when I get out, I'm going to publish my book.
Mhm.
I'm going to go back to school, and then
Mhm.
I'm going to open up this transitional house. I published my book in 2005.
What's the name of the book?
Will You Be There?
Will you be?
365 Ways to a More Intimate Relationship with God.
Okay.
Oh,
Now
wow.
that's being republished now. It should be out sometime in end of April.
Okay.
And then I went back to school. I went to Ashbury Theological Seminary and received my master's in 2021.
Congrats.
Hmm.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Yes.
I
So
lost my husband in 2020, and I graduated in 2021. It was hard, but I mean,
Oh.
and I received the Service Award at the graduation. I had no idea, had no
Wow.
clue that I was going to receive this
but you
award.
never knew who got
That
eyes.
is
I tell you the
excellent.
truth.
You never
I
knew
tell
who
you
got
the
eyes.
truth.
That
That's the
is
truth.
excellent.
And just imagine walking through Office Depot a few weeks ago. A few weeks ago. But these are the kind of conversations that we want for our audience to hear and see. You
Mhm.
know,
Mhm.
it's not enough to know that there's some good things going on in the
Yes.
community,
Yes,
Yes.
but to actually see the people who are making good things happen,
Mhm.
right.
that's where the difference comes.
Yes,
Yes.
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 And then to have someone who's been there, done that,
Yes.
and has a success story
Yeah.
makes
Yes.
makes
Yes.
it even more important. Because
Yes.
if I did it, you can do it too.
Mhm.
So you mentioned it, so I'm gonna back up because I think this is also inspirational for people.
Okay.
Mhm.
That you mentioned you served time,
Yes.
but you also promised yourself and you prayed
Mhm.
and basically said, I want to write a book, I want to publish a book. You got your master's,
Mhm. Mhm.
and you actually opened up a 10-bed facility,
That's right.
and you still have your ministry that's going into
The
the
prison.
prisons.
Wow.
Every single Sunday.
How do you do it all?
I was gonna say.
How do you do it all?
Discipline. Discipline. It takes discipline.
Wow.
You have to have a love for it, you know, a desire. It's really a calling. It's a calling
Yeah.
for me.
So on Sundays, you're in the prisons
And after church,
after church.
I drive up to Ocala, Florida, every Sunday except for the fifth Sunday, with a team of 3 to 4 people every Sunday.
Wow.
And we minister in Lowell, and then we go to Marion CI, the men's prison, and we minister there.
Wow.
So let me ask you this:
Hmm.
have you seen or witnessed some of the individuals that you've been ministering to in prison
Mhm.
and seen them make that transition out and come out, and you see the fruits of their labor because they could have done some of the things like you saying, hey, when I get out, here's what I want to do, and having a plan. Have you witnessed?
Well, I'm glad you asked. I have a resident in my house now
Mhm.
who was recently released from prison.
Oh.
I used to teach the Bible study. He used to come to in Marion County.
Mhm.
And when he got out like in February.
Mhm.
I opened my facility March 2nd.
Right.
So he was communicating with those back inside.
Mhm.
And they said, well, call Miss Linda. Call Miss Linda. She just opened up a transitional house. Give her a call. So he sent me an email and I connected with him. He's now in the house.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
The first one in
the
the
first one.
First one in the transitional house.
And how's he doing now?
He's doing wonderful.
Man, that is good.
Wow.
He's doing good.
Oh.
Well, since we're on that track though, 10 beds, he's the first one, and you
Mhm.
opened in March
March 2nd.
March 2nd. How's it been getting referrals?
That's been hard. You know, when you new, you know, you have to break the ice.
Mhm.
You have to keep pushing.
Mhm.
You have to keep knocking on doors because I believe that I'm just one door away
Yeah.
Mhm.
from being successful in this business. So I just keep knocking.
And see, and that's what we
Eventually,
bring you
somebody's
on.
gonna say, "Yeah,
You're right.
you know, I'm not gonna quit. I'm not gonna give up. I'm not gonna let up.
You're right.
I'm gonna be successful in this because I know there is a need. And as soon as somebody know and hear that I'm real and I'm about doing what I'm supposed to do, and I'm gonna do it regardless, they'll come.
That's why you want
They'll
Let's
join the
Nation.
team. And I
That's
need
why.
I need someone. I need help. Hey, I'm not
Mhm.
help.
We never had that cry out.
But you know what? With,
That's
with,
true,
with
though.
the services that you're providing,
Mhm.
I would think that there's a great demand out
Mhm.
There it is. There it
there.
is.
And so, and Ms. Wynn, I don't know what you're about to say, but what I will do is say to all of those different faith-based organizations, because the church is the first place
Yes.
that people, and it's not confined to having gotten in trouble.
Mhm.
Man, we go to church when we feeling, we feeling bad,
Yes.
or we
that.
need help up here
Yes.
and help with the heart.
Yes.
So, the church or faith-based communities are one that I'm going to reach out to, and again, let you know that there is a resource in the Orlando community, and they don't have to necessarily. They can come from across county because that's where they can live, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Sometimes it's good not to go back to where you used to be, where you used to. And you
Right.
need a new place.
You're right.
And from plant your seed in a new area. You know what I'm saying? So start fresh, start new somewhere else.
Right. Right.
It's better
But
for you
sometimes going
sometimes.
back to that same area where you came from, like put you back where you're
Especially when you're brand
coming
new.
out.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
when you're brand new.
That is amazing.
So
It's
yes, I am. I went to a meeting the other day with the Orange County Sheriff's Department, and it was a providers meeting.
Mhm.
And I got up and I started talking. I said, "Hey guys, I'm a new kid on the block. I'm brand new, so I introduced myself at that
Good,
gathering.
good.
Mhm.
What
Try to
about
get to know.
probation, Department of Corrections, probation and parole? I mean, going and, making yourself available to those probation officers, let them know, have your brochure, and everything, let them know,
Yes, that's fine, but I'm new, so it's hard getting to the right
Okay.
person,
Okay.
talking to the right individual.
Mhm.
It's difficult. It's difficult, but I have faith.
well, you, not only do you have faith, you got to sit down too. So
Yeah.
we're gonna try to help out
We
as much
gonna
as
help
we
you,
can.
yeah.
So you have your first resident
Yes.
that's in there. I mean, I don't know, I'm just scratching my head
I
thinking
have
about,
I have another resident that's coming in tonight at 6:30.
okay.
So I have
okay.
two
So you have
residents,
two.
yes.
Okay.
I'll have two.
Okay. Okay. So is there a person that's supervising them while they're at the base?
Actually, Thomas, the one who came from prison,
Uh-huh.
he is the house man.
Oh, okay.
And listen, guys, he has the knowledge about transitional homes already. He's been
Wow.
in charge of one before.
Okay.
So yeah, he has knowledge about that. So he is the house man.
Well,
He
good.
did-
So he oversees things. And listen, if it's the way God set things up. If you're gonna run something, you gotta have everything in place.
You're right.
God's got in order. And
Mhm.
if things are not in order, things are not gonna flow
Right,
properly.
right.
So we
It's gonna
got the
be
house
chaos.
man there, so now people start coming in.
And you got your next resident that's coming in.
Yes, yes.
I'm sitting back because, I mean, the faith community is one that, I mean, I definitely depend on, and I know that's the first place people go.
Yes. Yes.
I mentioned corrections, probation,
Mhm.
and I don't know where to point you in the direction for probation and parole, but to me, open up that doggone, and I know this is antiquated, I was gonna say, open up those yellow pages. But, hey,
You know what? If I had him, I would let my fingers do the wall to be sure. Yes, I would.
hey, that's antiquated now, all you gotta do is go Google.
Yes. I've been doing some of that too.
Speak into it.
I've been doing some of that. What I really like to do, Mr. Love, is to be able to get the book that I've published into the hands of inmates in prison,
Mhm.
because that's where I wrote the book at.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
And-
wow.
I think it'd be great for those who are brand new to Christianity, trying to
Mhm.
find their way, trying to find some spirituality.
Right.
I think it would help them. So that's one of the things I'm trying to get done, so it can help offset some of the finances or money that I need to run the house.
Gotcha,
You understand
gotcha.
what I'm saying? So,
Right. Oh, wow.
Hey,
Oh, wow.
Pastor Linda is here, but any of you
I
that are
don't,
out there,
I don't have my own church. Let's clear that. I
Well,
work under.
you
I
know
work
what?
under-
you can preach on the street corner, you can preach on somebody's bedside.
And I do. I do.
Yes,
You don't have to have a church to get through to
Good to get
people.
the word out.
And so, but
That's true.
Pastor Linda is sitting here. If you have any questions about her facility, don't hesitate to call us. I know that number is 689-686-4405. Once again, 689-686-4405.
Mhm.
So, Pastor Linda, I'm listening to how you develop your plan.
Mhm.
And really what amazed me, I mean, you just kind of knocked them out. I'm gonna write a book, go back and get my degree. I'm gonna open up this house, and I know it wasn't easy. And that's what people need to realize.
Right.
Mhm.
When they hear you articulate your plan,
Mhm.
it wasn't, okay, that plan just came together like that.
Right.
You had to work
Right.
it.
Exactly.
Right.
Remember, it started in 2017.
Mhm.
We're now in 2024.
Right.
So,
We live in this microwave generation where everybody wants it fast.
Yeah.
But you know what?
it won't last, get it fast.
You're
Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're absolutely
And so tell
right.
us what else are you aspiring? Because I know you're trying to get this transitional house off and running.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And so what's the game plan?
The reason I have the transition house, I have a partner,
Okay.
Mhm.
and she happens to be my sister.
Okay.
Her name is Joyce Sanders, and I continuously talk to her about, my dreams and my plans, and
Mhm.
I wanted to do this transitional home, and
Mhm.
it finally clicked in her mind a while back, and that I was sincere. I don't know what took her so long, but she finally got. She said, "Okay, well, let's do it." So then we did. Now we find ourselves with the house here.
Mhm.
So then after I got the house, I say, sis, you know what? This is for men. I want a house for women.
Mhm.
And then after I get the house for the women, listen, this may sound crazy,
Mhm.
but I've already driven down Lee Road.
Mhm.
I already see the building
Uh-oh.
that I want it used to be an office building
Uh-huh.
that we can take and turn it into a large facility
Mhm.
for men, women, and possibly families.
Okay.
So
Is this
that's,
residential?
okay.
yes,
Okay.
this is my ultimate goal. It may be 3 or 4 years from down
Yeah.
the road,
Right.
but it's a plan.
Discipline.
It's a
Right.
vision.
You know, they say, those who fail to plan to fail.
You know what? I was in high school and I used to take the bus to high school and I used to drive by this Catholic school and they had that on the post. And I remember that from 30, 40 years
See.
ago.
Oh, wow.
If you build a plan, you plan to fail.
But we're hearing your plan,
Yes,
Mhm.
you know, and that's where it starts.
yes.
Right.
For some folk, and I tell my kids this all the time, they tell me what they want to do.
Mhm.
I tell them to put it down on a piece of paper. I mean, I know we're in this technology age,
Yes,
but
yes.
boy, it's nothing like writing down
Mhm.
Where
Your
you-
vision.
Piece of paper.
where you talking about going,
Yeah.
so that you can go in your
Well, vision
room
board.
and pick up that piece of paper.
Put it
Now,
on.
when you're thinking about all this stuff and you're trying to grab it out of the air,
It ain't going
you just grab in the air.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes, right.
yeah. A
Absolutely.
vision board. Put your
Mhm.
vision on,
That's
take a
right.
picture of your
Mhm.
building you see and put it out. That's what I'm aiming
Yes,
for.
that's
That's my vision.
And I talk about it all the time. You know, I met this pastor. I can't think of his name right now, but he has a church on Mercy Drive.
Mhm.
And when I first wanted to get out and get involved,
Mhm.
right before I got the transitional homes, I started talking to people. Tell you, go talk to this person, you go talk to that person. So I started doing all those things.
Mhm.
And I went and talked to this pastor, and I had to go back to him and tell him, oh, it's something. He said one thing that was so important. He said, wherever you go,
Mhm.
talk about what you're doing.
Talk about what you're doing. You're right.
Mm.
And that stuck with me.
But she must don't know Attorney Greg Jackson.
No.
Attorney Greg Jackson, he has this little old country saying.
Uh-huh.
And that country saying, it says, it's a sad frog
Nope.
that don't croak over his own pond.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, but you know what? I do want to throw out some names to you because I do believe these individuals can help.
Mhm.
You have Pastor Sharon Riley,
Okay.
who is out there doing incredible things. You got Pastor Hezekiah Bradford out in the Apopka Zellwood area. You got Pastor Richard King,
Mhm.
who I just got to say happens to be my father-in-law too, but he can sit down and tell you stories because he had some challenges,
Mhm.
and he can sit down and tell you how he navigated, and now he's the one that people look to
Yes.
when they're looking at how do you take these steps, how do you develop that plan.
Mhm.
But also you have Bishop Derek McCrae, you got Pastor Terrence Gray,
Great.
Pastor David Jock, and I don't know if y'all know this, but I'm going young,
Young and
older.
older.
I'm going
Yes.
this new age
Right.
still. I'm going
Wisdom.
male, female.
Wisdom.
It's
Wisdom.
diverse,
Exactly.
diverse. But these are folk that are out in the community. They're engaging, but they're also being engaged.
Yes.
And I think they can definitely help where you're going. And I mean, 10-bed facility. I mean,
Mhm.
resources are hard to come by.
Yeah.
Yes, they are. They are.
Yeah,
It sounds like you. It sounds like you have, let me say, your vision
Mhm.
in front of you. You know what it is. But like we said earlier, when one door closes, another will
Right.
open.
I'm a firm
You just
believer.
gotta
I'm just
keep
one door
knocking.
away
Mhm.
from where I need to be successful.
Yes.
That one person will come and do one thing, and the floodgates open.
And that's it.
That's
Right.
it. That's
But I can't give up.
But
I got to.
it's not in your
That's
DNA.
right.
No,
No,
It's not in your DNA.
I don't know how you know that, but you're
After
absolutely
all
true.
of that, you
You're
didn't
absolutely
accomplish. I
true.
know you got to
you-
Like
stop
Mama said,
now.
baby, you said a mouthful.
You said a mouthful. But seriously, let me tell you, giving up is not easy.
No, man.
By the mere fact that you're in here on this show this evening. I mean, last week we had some technical issues,
Yes.
and boy, God made it to where you sit back in this seat and we're ready to go. And for the audience that's listening to this, I don't know if we hit it enough. Pastor Linda has a transitional facility that's located in Orlando, 10-bed home.
Yeah, right.
And if you need to access it, how do they get a hold of you again?
They can call me at 954-639-1848. Or if you want to email me, you can email me with the number 2 Fold, F-O-L-D, help, H-E-L-P, ministries at gmail.com.
Okay. And tell them about your website.
My website is the word to TWOFOLD, help, ministries.org. I tell you, March 2nd, when we opened up the facility, we had the Commissioner Scott was there.
Okay,
We had
Orange County, that's Mike
yes,
Scott, right?
yes,
Okay.
yes. Val Jennings was there, she spoke.
Great.
We had Emeritus Larry G. Mills, who's the president of OUC, that
Yes.
he prayed he was there.
You had the
So-
players out there.
Yes, it was really nice.
Yeah,
Really nice.
That's
And
nice.
it was also Channel 6 News carried it.
See,
Oh, see, you
We,
doing it right.
we need donations, financial donations are needed to help continue to
Mhm.
service these people.
So your organization is a 501c3?
501c3.
Okay,
Okay, so visit that website. You have a donation tab on
Yes,
your
we do.
website?
Yes,
Okay.
we do.
And those donations are tax deductible,
Yes,
just
they are.
for those folks who don't know, 501c3.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So, we know the work that you're doing in your facility. We know you need referrals.
Mhm.
And see, I don't know how this process works, but I know some of the things that I think I would probably be doing, and that is going over to that courthouse,
Oh, yeah.
having conversation with those folk that are being seen, those folk that their families are there and they're trying to figure out where are their loved ones going to go when they get released, whether it's from jail or prison.
That's correct.
And I know you're just one person. I know you've been ripping and running, trying to be on the scene, but that's one of the things that comes to mind. I don't know if you're familiar with Desmond Meade.
I've heard with the Florida Restoration.
Yes. Desmond would be a great contact as
Okay.
well.
Okay.
So we want to help you. I mean, 10-bed facility. We want to be as much of a help to you as we
Thank
possibly
you.
can.
Thank you.
Yes.
So,
yes.
So Ms. Queen, I hear her talking about opening up a woman's residential.
Yes.
We got to go ahead and help her get this man place filled up.
That's it.
Yes.
That after it's filled, then I go, venture out to the women's. Yes. I don't want to open up that one without this one being completely full.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Get that one up and running, and then we can go ahead and venture out to the next one.
So I know, and I know we're winding down, but the one thing I do want to bring up, I saw the eligibility on our punch list as far as what your eligibility criteria is. Would this be an accommodation for, let's say, we got kids, and I don't want to use the vernacular kids, but we have some young people that are aging out of foster care. Now, I'm not sure if this would be the setting for them. I mean, you tell me based on the criteria.
That, you know what, that's something to consider. I wouldn't turn them down.
Okay.
Because listen, we all fall on bad times.
Right.
And
Right.
even the best of us, we have problems. So our house is to help those who want a hand up.
Well, gotcha.
Right.
Someone coming out of the foster system can have just as willing mind as someone else coming from jail.
Right.
As long as they're 18 years and
As long
older,
as they're
right?
18 years and
Okay.
older,
Okay.
and have a willing mind.
Right.
Mhm.
A go-getter. Got
Yeah.
that go-get.
Gotta have a mind.
How do you screen? I'm
I have,
listening to the go-get.
I have a strong spirit of discernment.
Okay.
And when I sit down and I talk to a person, I talk to them just like as plain as you can get. I go as plain as one can get.
Okay.
I tell you, I'm real with you. If you're playing games, I know I've been there, done that.
Yeah.
I done threw the t-shirt away, So don't try me.
Yeah.
Don't do that. I'm here to help you.
Right.
I make it known. I'm here to assist you. And if you want to do what you're supposed to do, success is only yours to grasp.
Right. Right.
But it's not the house where you come and play games.
That's when you get that intuition, like,
I promise you, I know.
You mentioned your partner happens to be your sister.
Yeah.
And, I know my siblings, I mean, it's a relationship thing. I know my siblings would oftentimes probably be the ones telling me not what I want to hear, but what I need to know. So does your sister play that role with you?
Oh, I have the best sister in the world. You know what she says? She says, I'm the bad cop, she's the good cop. Actually, we have a real estate firm.
Okay.
She's been a realtor for over 40 years.
Wow.
Wow.
And she and I work together.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been, I mean, we're closer than close. I tell you what, for instance, I can get up in the morning and put on a black top and a black pair of pants.
Mm-hmm.
When we get to work, she got the same color. We went to the gym today. I promise you, went to the gym today. I had a blue tank top. She came in with a pink one. She had on black pants. I had on gray pants. And she says to me, she said, "Listen, when I got up this morning, I was going to put on the same color tank top you had on, but I changed my mind." So many times we have the same. We think this.
You sure y'all not twins?
Everybody say we are. Every single night we talk before we go to sleep.
Man,
Mm. So
She knows what I'm thinking sometimes.
man.
do your sister also do some of the interviewing with the residents?
She's
have a
right there with me.
conversation?
She's right there with me.
Okay.
So
We've always been
So
close.
y'all-
You got a hands-on part.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Okay,
We,
that's good.
we've always been close from children all the way up to adulthood.
Okay.
Before we run out of time, I gotta ask you this because
Mhm.
we've had conversation about programs going into communities that need them, but we also have experienced NIMBY. Are you familiar with NIMBY?
Yeah.
NIMBY is what they call not in my backyard.
Mhm.
Have you experienced that from any of the neighborhood or community?
You know, I've been blessed.
Okay.
The neighborhood we're in is a pretty nice neighborhood.
Okay, good, good.
I haven't ran into any of that at all.
You know,
That's good.
people
That's
talk
good.
about things
We,
that,
we want to be good neighbors.
and that's
Right.
what matters. You know, people
Yes.
talk about
Right.
resources that are needed in communities,
Mhm.
but
Mhm.
they talk about it until those resources
Yeah,
come to
yeah,
their
yeah.
community.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
You know,
Yes.
but that's
Yes.
why it's very important. You just mentioned it. Very important to be a good neighbor. Be
Yes.
conscious
Yes.
of being a good neighbor.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Well, Pastor Linda, you know you can always be welcome here,
Thank you.
but our objective is how can we help you? We know
Mhm.
what we need to do.
Mhm.
I'm gonna again ask the faith community, which again people say, man, why do you lean on the faith community as much as you do? Well, I do because that's the place where we all come from, and we eventually go back there at some
Yes.
point in time.
That's the truth.
That's the truth.
And so, Pastor Linda, we appreciate you being here. We look forward to hearing great things about what
Thank
you're doing.
you.
But we do want you to come back and tell us about how this thing is growing when you open up your women's facility.
Yes.
We want to hear about your successes too.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, you know, we're in the mustard seed stage right now. It's going to bloom into a beautiful tree.
Well, it's growing, and we believe.
Well, I believe it. I believe it.
Well,
Put it
before
out
Pastor
there.
Linda, look in that camera and just let folk know, finish off the show and just tell folk why you came to be with this residential program.
Wow. I, being incarcerated myself in life, I saw the need for those inside prison not having anybody at home they could call and talk to, and talking about not having a place to stay when they got out.
Mhm.
And it was laid upon my heart while I was there to develop this house when I got out. It took me a while, started in 2017, today is 2024, but I followed that dream. I wrote down the plan, and I took step by step to get where I am today. So now I'm trying to give back to help those, because look at me. I was there, I was in for a crime I didn't commit.
Mm.
You know, I could have come out angry, bitter,
Right.
you know,
Right.
but I came out full, whole,
Strong.
happy, strong, really
Yes.
strong. So
Resilient.
I know that even though I was inside and away from my family for 5 years, and I had to learn everything all over again, I had to go to school when I got out, you know. I went to a class to learn how I had to get acclimated back into society.
Oh,
They had
wow.
cell phones when I got out. They didn't have them when I went in.
Wow.
Oh,
So-
wow.
I had a lot to learn, and so I took the necessary steps to make me a better person.
Mm.
And I want to offer those steps and those avenues to someone else so they too can become a better you.
Right.
That's where I'm at.
That well
Pastor Linda,
said.
that was powerful.
That
Thank you.
well said. Yes. Yes.
So
So
those-
our,
I'm sorry, Ms. B, go ahead.
for our listeners out, so please go visit the website, make a donation to the transitional home for Miss Linda.
And before we leave, that phone number is 954-639-1848. We all know somebody that needs some help.
Correct.
And Pastor Linda, we're glad that you're here. We're glad that you're doing it. And you'll always be welcome on the sit down. For our audience, hey, this is the place when you want to hear about organizations that are doing great work. This is where you want to be. Let us know when you want to come on. You can reach us at info@letstalknation.net. And we look forward to having you. Pastor Linda, keep up the great work.
Thank you so
Yes,
much. Thank you for having me.
We'll see you next
Absolutely.
Monday on the sit down. And that's our cue that we're out.